Hi, my name is Holger. I blog at colabthinking.com, and let me tell you, blogging is really easy, but making videos is really hard. So this is my very first video. Be kind to me. I'm still figuring all of that out. But what I might be able to do is talk to you about Google Drive today. And today we're talking about Drive approvals. So I'm totally reading everything that I'm saying. It's very amateurish, but bear with me. Drive approvals, however, are very cool. So the problem that we're solving today are approvals. So in companies, people usually approve a lot. In the beginning, when you're new, it's usually you in the beginning of your career that does a lot of work. Somebody else will approve your work, like your client deliverables, the policies, emails, even if they're important. You write it, someone else will approve it. Then as you progress, it's probably you who does more of the approving. And that approval process is usually broken. There are three main issues with it. The first issue is the asking for the approval is usually very clumsy. Second, when you get the thumbs up from your manager, that usually comes as a chat message, as a comment, looks good to me, or as an email message. And then it is up to you to take screenshots, to print that as PDFs, or to do whatever, and that becomes an artifact in its own right, or a deliverable. And now you have two things to take care of, and make sure that that covers your behind when something gets awkward in the heat of things. And finally, the issue is that you need to take care that the approved version is the version that goes out, and that that version is not modified afterwards. So Drive approvals has three main issues to solve, and I think it does so fabulously. So let's start looking at Drive approvals. It's quick, and I think your work is going to get much easier going forward. When your file is ready for approval, select Files and Approvals. In the Approvals panel, you will see all previous approvals and their details. In our case, the file has never been approved before, so we will make a new request. Only editors can request approvals. Specify who you would like to approve your file. To be approved, everyone will have to approve. A single person rejecting the approval will stop the entire process. If someone is on vacation, you will need to wait until the person is back or specify someone else. For our demo, I have added myself to the approvers. You can add a message to be included in the email notification that approvers receive. Note that approvals are visible to everyone with viewer rights, so be careful about what you say. You might not want to say anything at all. You can add a due date, but that doesn't change much. I would advise you to lock the file before sending the approval request. Otherwise, people can still change your file while it's being approved, which will cause the approval process to start over. When you are ready, send a request. Google will check if all your approvers can access the file. When I started the approval process, I asked the file to be locked, which means it can only be viewed. All views in Google Drive will now display a lock icon. Any editor can click the lock menu to unlock the file, but that would stop the approval process. A large bar will show that the file is pending approval. I can approve or reject the file from here, or show the approvals panel again to see details. Let's see the approvals arriving in real time. We received our first approval. All right. Let's do our part and approve too. Remember, if one person rejects, the whole process stops. The file is now approved. The file remains locked. It can be unlocked by editors, but it would also forfeit the approved status. All right, that was easy, wasn't it? Now for some use cases. Those are always the best. And there are some pretty cool use cases with driver approvals, starting with client deliverables. Client deliverables are usually the most high-stakes documents that you could be working on in companies, and those are usually approved by almost everyone in a company, up to the partner or the CIO, CEO, and they are a pretty good use case for driver approvals. By the way, you can use driver approvals also with documents that you have created outside of the Google tools, as long as they are stored on Drive. So you can create documents in the Microsoft tools. You can use driver approvals with PDFs or with images or with really any sort of document or file, as long as you store it in Google Drive. Afterwards, just go to the Info side panel or right-click the file and select Drive Approvals, and you just follow the very same process. A second use case, also very cool, would be internal policy documents, or in general documents that will be made available internally, like on a site that everyone in the company will at one point see, maybe in view-only mode, but those documents would gain much more weight and importance if they were approved, because there's usually one approved version, and that would also be an important document. So approving that sort of document will also give that document much more weight. There's also a neat trick with that. You can assign yourself as an approver for one of those documents if you don't want to create a new version of that, or if you don't want to create a new copy. So you could assign yourself, like I did in a demo, and just approve that file yourself. So even if you're not the CEO, that would work. It's better than nothing, unless you're the CEO. And finally, if you communicate for a living, drive approvals would also be a very new and very handy tool. It plays very well with new functionality in Google Drive or in Google Docs, such as collaboratively creating emails or email drafts that you would later send or store as deliverables. Finally, just one caveat. You can start an approval process and you can stop it, but you cannot delete it from the document. So all the started, failed, and successfully concluded approvals will always remain part of your document. So be mindful of that, and if you have a very important document, that would not be the place to test the functionality. So do test that functionality with your friends or colleagues in really a test document. And drive approvals are meant to be very serious, and they become permanently part of the metadata of your documents. So be aware that A, they cannot be deleted, and B, any comments that you make in those drive approvals will also be visible for anyone who sees the document afterwards. So those drive approvals are very transparent, on purpose, and permanent. That was it. Thanks for today. I think I made it through my very first video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you swing by colabthinking.com, and thanks for watching.